It'll come out in post.
Freeflying on a Sunday, my ticket is a one-way. I'm about to play in the sky.
Are we recording? Oh, can you say? Yeah, set us up, Raleigh. What is this?
All right, this is my perspective of first stinging diver slot out of the lead plane. This is at the most recent head-up world record tryout camp. I think it was in April at Skydive, Arizona.
Skydive, Arizona, baby.
Yeah, a little 360 action.
Well, quick question. Like, I've heard something about a pure record being you have to leave the plane head up to get to the head up formation. That's just myth.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Everybody that I know is getting to formations head down.
Yeah, that's the fastest way. But it was some purist skydiver that was like, it doesn't count unless you leave the plane head up.
It would be quite the show-off move, I think, but pretty unrealistic.
What is the head up record?
The current head-up record, I think, is 84.
84.
I'm pretty sure.
And the head down record is?
Still 164.
You see how hard head up is?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's fucking insane. Raleigh, introduce yourself, man. What's your name?
How's it going? Raleigh Spahn here. Good to see you guys.
How many jumps you got, Raleigh?
More than 1,700, less than 1,750, like 1,730 something, somewhere in that range.
None of them are work jumps.
I've got very few organizing jumps, maybe less than 150 jumps as an organizer, but no tandems, no AFF.
No video.
I'm a fun jumper.
You're a pure shred. Dude, you're the guy that made me feel like I fucking suck at skydiving. We went on a head up. I was talking about on the last show with Nate Roth. We went on a head up angle. And because I've gone on head up angles, they've been fine. I've never been planked out that fucking hard.
Yep.
Dude. And you guys were going so fast. And like, if you bail out, it's weird. You got to get vertical again and then start moving. You can't just get in an angle like in a head down jump.
It's much different.
It's a new world for me.
Yeah, the balance is knife edge. Like it's crazy. The balance point between head up and head down, it's so much different. To be on the same pitch, the same angle, of your body orientation, but the feeling is so much different. It's crazy. It's so
much harder.
Yeah, so much harder. I agree.
Like, it almost feels impossible. I'm not kidding, dude, because when you guys took off, dude, Nate was pinned, I was pinned, but I was squirrely.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep,
like, that
absolutely.
speed was like, it is on the knife, like you said, it's razor's edge.
Yep.
It's like, you're either there or you're gone.
Yep. If you lose it, it is incredibly difficult to get back, for sure. If the leader is letting you get back, then it becomes easier, of course. Or if you flip to your head. And
so you didn't let me get back?
I had other people on the jump, man.
Hey, no, but I did. I flipped to my head.
Yep.
I flipped to my head, and I get back to you, and I go to transfer my feet and get them forward, and there's no way.
Yep.
And then I figured out, I came back in again. I figured out, okay, I got to get vertical and then try to get you. By then, you guys are on the horizon turning.
Yeah. It's until you start doing a lot of head-up angles, being familiar with the speed and the pitch and the body orientation immediately upon transitioning from your head down, unless you have it like really ingrained in your muscle memory, you're going to be playing catch up because you got to get out of your head down into head up of some kind,
right?
And then get your shit figured out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fast.
Yes,
fast.
Like it's crazy.
It's such a wild thing. It's like it's opened up a whole new frontier for jumping for me. Like, I feel like I'm starting over, dude. Like, I just want to do, and I've been training in here.
Yep.
I've been training my face off head up, like topping it out as much as I can, trying to, not the same.
Tunnel helps. Tunnel is the flight simulator to skydiving. Absolutely it is. And it makes people better flyers, 100%. But and those tunnel skills do translate to the sky. But the feeling in the sky is different, as you can attest, as other tunnel flyer skydivers can attest, I'm sure. And the skills do translate, but there's overlap between them that exists in the tunnel that doesn't exist in the sky, and that exists in the sky that doesn't exist in the tunnel.
And movement is a great, because we can only move 14 feet here. Absolutely.
So being on those steep angles for extended periods of time in the tunnel it's near impossible,
So what I've been doing is putting my toe on the glass and planking out and just carving around as forward as forward stretched as I can,
Absolutely.
but still carve because that's all I can do.
Yep. And to do that, you have to be at a much lower wind speed,
Yes.
right?
Right.
But when we're in the sky and you're in that same body position,
We're hauling ass.
we're hauling ass. The speed is so much different. So yes, you're familiar with the body position, but you're not familiar with the speed and the pressure, the feeling of the air.
The pressure, the violence.
It's much different. So yes, you can be in that body position, but you're familiar with it being at 70% or whatever it is in the
Right.
wind tunnel, not at 180 miles an hour.
And my rig is really fit to my body. It's cut perfectly. It's still shifting. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I've never felt that.
It makes
it's
it more difficult.
It's always been good.
Yep.
Right? But this head up shit, it just shifts and
In-space head up.
moves. What the fuck, man?
It's tricky.
It's tricky as fuck. But it's fun.
It's my favorite. I
Dude,
love
I
it.
wake up, I'm like, I'm going to the DZ. Raleigh's going to be there. Like, we saw Yanni tonight. I did some angles with Yanni the other day. I'm like, I'm on this shit. Dude, Skydive Arizona. Like, I show up and I'm like, it's electric, bro.
Yep.
I don't know who I'm jumping with, but I know it's going to be tough
Yep.
and fun.
Yep.
So you started iFLY Kansas City. Were you a jumper?
I was a jumper before I started working in the wind tunnel.
Where was your first drop? Where'd you learn how to skydive?
I learned how to. My very first skydive ever, my tandem, was at Skydive, Iowa, which is in Brooklyn, Iowa, which is an hour east of Des Moines.
Shout out Skydive Iowa.
Yep.
182?
Say again.
182?
182. Yep.
IAD or AFF?
That was a tandem, and then I did all of my AFF was at Des Moines Skydivers. So it was almost a year between my first tandem ever and my AFF.
What convinced you to do a tandem?
It was the day after my 19th birthday, and it was a gift, and I thought it would be fun. And man, as soon as that door opened, my head shot out. I looked straight down, and I was sold right then and there.
That was the moment?
That was the moment. Like
That was
when
the
the door
moment.
opened, that was the moment.
Did you have, because you're a pilot now,
I'm a pilot now.
so did you have aviation goals before jumping, or was just, this is all brand new?
Nope, it's all brand new.
So you're some fucking Iowa boy?
Just some corn-fed Iowa boy.
Somebody bought you a tandem on your 19th
Yep,
birthday?
my folks bought me a tandem on my 19th birthday, and
Little
I
did
loved
they
it.
fucking know.
Yeah, man, I loved it. And they've been incredibly supportive this whole time, too.
Have they?
So it's,
that's beautiful.
which has been great. So I did my tandem August of 2013, June of 2014, just over 10 years ago, I started AFF.
What changed in that year?
I finished college.
Okay.
Yep.
And then it was just always in the back of your head.
Yep.
And you went to Des Moines, though. Why didn't you go back to Skydive, Iowa?
I did more research, and
Okay.
I mean, nothing wrong with Skydive Iowa,
No,
but
of course.
the AFF program was just a little bit bigger
Right.
at Des Moines Skydivers. They bring in a caravan from Skydive Chicago.
Oh, beautiful.
So there was just, as somebody who knew nothing about skydiving,
Right.
there was more draw to that drop zone at
Right.
that time.
So what happens is if you don't fucking know,
Yeah.
of course
I
you're
didn't
going to
know.
pick the closest place
Yep.
that's cheapest.
It was closer to me, and exactly. And I
So
could
that's
afford
what
it.
you end up at a 182 drop zone.
Yep.
40 minutes from the house.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
Yep. I was fortunate. I did all of my AFF out of a caravan, but most of my coach jumps were out of the 182.
Nice.
Got a lot of 182
Oh,
jumps
good.
as well.
Dude, that's a good experience,
Yeah.
man. I'm a 182 jumper.
Even after making most of my skydives out of Twin Otters, 182s are still my favorite plane to exit out of. God,
Playground. It's a
so
playground.
much fun.
It's a jungle gym.
Oh, it's great.
You can you can
Crawl,
grab all
you can
kinds of
hang,
stuff,
you
dude.
can- It's like nothing else. It's so cool.
It's so fun, and people don't get it. Some people will never jump a 182.
Yep.
Man. So, okay, AFF. Did you do it like you pay for it all at once, or did you?
Yeah, so I finished college, got a job, saved up I don't remember how much money it was, the package deal, pay this lump sum, and there's your AFF. I saved up that amount of money, dropped it right then and there, and paid for my first 7 skydives, and didn't have to repeat any, thankfully.
Well, right on, thankfully.
Which
Yeah.
worked out for me because that was the money that I had at the
That was
moment,
it.
so that worked out really well. I think it was 2 weekends of caravan. It was like a weekend and a weekend off, and then the third weekend I finished AFF and then onto my coach jumps.
Okay, but they didn't require the coach jumps.
No. I mean, not for. So I did AFF before it was categories.
That's what I'm
saying. I did AFF 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I didn't do category A, B, C, D. To this day, I'm not an AFF instructor, so I'm not super familiar with it, to be honest.
I had to learn it because I did 1 through 3, 1 through 7, and then I had to learn category A, C1, whatever.
Yep.
And it's cool. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
The same thing. But then they require all the coach jumps afterwards.
Yep.
But it used to be 7 jumps.
Yep.
You get 7 jumps and you were free to go skydive.
Yep. Yeah, I could
Not
jump.
anymore.
I could jump solo, or I could jump with a coach to get my 25 and then get licensed.
And you said it was in August you did it?
That was in my tandem was in August. So I started in June of 2014 AFF, and I had my
1 full season.
Yeah, that was my first full season. So
and then winter kicks in Iowa when?
End of October.
And that's it.
Yeah, at this drop zone, Des Moines Skydivers, the Halloween Boogie is their last event. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it gets weathered out, rain and clouds and all that stuff, because winter's coming in. So basically, nobody's jumping in November anymore.
So what'd you do your first couple years?
My first 4 years were all in Iowa.
Right.
So I had 4 seasons of Iowa summer and sitting over the winter waiting to jump more. I couldn't afford to travel or go do anything at the time.
Of course not.
So in those 4 years, I made my first 400 jumps. And
nice. And you never went the rating route. You never wanted to be in a AFFI or a videographer.
Never really interested me.
No. You had money. That's why you had money to jump.
Yeah, I liked fun jumping. I liked doing what I wanted on my skydives, and I knew pretty quickly after I got to the drop zone, like within my first couple visits to the drop zone, that I knew that I wanted it to be a fun place, not a work place.
Okay, right on.
I knew that pretty quickly.
So my drop zone was a workplace. Yep. He didn't care about fun jumpers. He wasn't interested in fun jumpers. If you were jumping there, it's because you were going to work for him one day. Otherwise, he didn't want you really there.
No, this place is a club, still a club. So
a club.
They pay dues, membership.
Oh no, shit.
Club
How
run.
Does that work? I've heard about this,
it's fantastic. They do a great job. So they've got dues paying club members, however many they are. Each year they elect a board of directors. And there's a treasurer, there's a president, there's a VP of events, there's all these people that 4 or 5 people on the board who handle the big picture stuff of how to run the drop zone, and then the dues paying club members help out during those events with manifest or loading the plane or whatever.
You pay dues and jump tickets?
Dues and discounted jump tickets. Dues to be a part of the club, to go to the meetings, to be a part of the community. Mm-hmm. And then along with that, that's you saying, hey, I like this drop zone. I want to be here. I enjoy this. I enjoy this so much that I want to support it and be a part of it beyond just coming here and spending money in skydiving and not having anything else to do with it.
This sounds like a genius idea for just any drop zone to have.
It's the other way drop zones are run when they're not owned by a company or a corporation or whoever. Yeah.
Yeah. But like it brings the community. It's almost
community.
But see, you don't want to give people the feeling of ownership because then they start demanding things. But if you give them a community that they can build, and that's where they have better shit for boogies. You could have better events,
and that's where the board of directors comes in. Is that's the how that power doesn't get divided amongst 40 people. There's a president who's in charge, the board of directors who communicate and work together, and then the club members who are given voices, but the decisions are ultimately made by the board of directors who have access to the finances and the information
for the whole drop
for the whole drop zone behind the scenes. Yes.
So, I mean, this is just a side note. I'm just thinking like, there's got to be a way for a DZO to keep his tandem and jump money and then also have a club.
Yep. Yeah,
that'd be the perfect fucking drop zone.
The drop zone has a drop zone manager as well, who's not on the board of directors.
Okay, yeah, but of course he's an employee. Because with this club, man, you guys could build camping areas, showers.
Yeah, they recently built a brand new hangar at their airport in Knoxville. Like the club members came together and used their individual skills from their professions and built this hangar from nothing. And
fucking bunk rooms.
They've got a campground. Like it's.
That sounds
Des Moines Skydivers,
genius.
Knoxville, Iowa. Go jump there, man. It's awesome.
So the closest thing we had was Skydive Lone Star, which had no dues. And then the owner just was off in his trailer, so we got to do the fuck we wanted to do with the key gear.
Say again.
Skydive, Iowa?
Des Moines Skydivers.
Des Moines
You
Skydive.
can type in Skydive 515 into the search bar. It'll pull it up.
That's a beautiful thing. So, like, I ran into Tiger Woods.
Scroll down. Second one.
Tiger Woods pilot, right? And he was talking about how Tiger belongs to a club that only rich guys jump at.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise jumps at.
Yeah.
And, you know, they
That
show
one.
up with their gear and they got planes. And they got, you know, saunas
Yeah.
and fucking, it's awesome.
That's the life.
Yeah, that's the
I wish
life.
I had that.
What's this? All right, Des Moines. Shout out Des Moines Skydive.
Des Moines Skydivers, man. It's a great place to learn. It's a great drop zone. It's super
Unstable
fun.
exit.
They run a 182, but they bring in the caravan from Skydive Chicago like twice a month, almost every other weekend, and then 2, 3, sometimes 4 weekends out of the year they'll bring in a Twin Otter as well.
Sick. So you're 4 years in, 400 jumps in. So what? 30 the first year, 80 the next, 100, 100.
You know, it worked out to be 400 in about 4 years. or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And then what happened?
So, while in that time period of those 4 years, most of my jumps were at Des Moines Skydivers. I started jumping in June of 2014. In October of 2015, I started working for iFLY.
Okay, Kansas.
Yeah,
How'd
Kansas
you
City.
get that job from Iowa?
I had friends who flew in the tunnel. They referred me to coaches at Skydive Chicago, and I flew as a customer a couple times.
Yes.
And then
That's where you got your feet
yep.
wet. You found the tunnel.
Yep, exactly.
What was your first tunnel experience like?
My instructor was David Mazik.
Amazing.
In,
Shout out Amazing. God damn
in
it.
Chicago, Naperville.
Naperville. Nappyville, baby.
Spencer Lebunski was in the door.
Spencer used to run this
Yep.
fucking tunnel we're sitting
Yep.
in.
And it was great, you know. Like I had 100-ish skydives, or a little more than 100 skydives at the time, and
Were you able to fly? Or
I was
did
able
you
to fly.
suck?
No,
Really?
I thought. I mean, you know,
Raleigh.
I was just like anybody else, you know.
Right.
I was just like anybody else the first time in the wind tunnel. That's when Kansas City was just opening.
Nice.
That was a while ago. But it was great, you know. I didn't do any back flying as a customer. I only flew on my belly because I didn't feel like I was doing well enough. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I
Yeah,
wanted
of
wanted
course,
to
of
drill
course.
everything over and over and over and over again. You know, that's
Yeah.
in my probationary period
that's your demo?
while in training at iFLY Houston. Yeah. So
So you trained in Houston?
yeah, I trained in Houston because
With John Walker.
Yep, John Walker,
The fucking legend.
Tony Dickey. So John Walker led Tony Dickey.
Shout out to fucking Tony Dickey. Goddamn Tony.
I haven't seen those guys since Houston, but yeah, they
Tony's
were
one of my
great.
best friends. We started Austin together.
Nice.
Oh my god,
Yep.
dude, that is so crazy. So, dude, side note, we were watching that was at home. That wasn't on here. The Eloy. We were watching the Eloy shred videos. It's old school
Okay.
Eloy. What was it called? We were watching it at the house, man. The Eloy tunnel shred videos. So the intro is Ray Kubiak and John Walker sitting there playing the
Wow.
guitar, rapping.
Oh, that's cool.
And they get in the tunnel and start doing all these fucking tricks. Dude, we're in a place of legends
Wow,
right now.
that's awesome.
So John Walker and Tony. So Tony, who was lead on your FITP?
John was supervising Tony's. I don't know if it was his first lead, but it was
Okay.
the leads
so
that
he was
needed.
all fucking hardcore
Yeah.
and fucking strict. Tony, you're the strictest fucking Frenchiest Mexican ever. Fucking
Yeah, it was Tony leading and John making sure he was doing a good job,
So-
which he was.
Yeah, of course. Of course, he was
course
doing
he
a good job. So, any instructors in the industry past 2016, everything you know, Tony Dickey wrote. Basically, the 4Ps, all the new shit.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's always been really astringent with his shit, but he makes great instructors.
Yeah.
So, how long were you in Houston?
I was only in Houston for 3 months, so
Oh,
I
just for
yes,
FITP.
it was FITP and then continuing to work while Kansas City finished construction.
Oh,
So I
okay.
started. It was like all of October of 2015 was FITP. Then the last 2 months were just back and forth between the Woodlands and Memorial, working like under supervision, and then
Woodlands was brand new.
Woodlands was pretty brand new. My class, my FITP was the class after the class that opened Woodlands.
Woodlands,
Yes.
okay, yeah,
Their
15.
first FITP class.
Okay.
So we were just working back and forth between Memorial and Woodlands until
Was Marlon there?
Marlon was at Woodlands in 2015.
Shredding.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then beginning of the year, end of January, Kansas City opened up, and That's
How was that tunnel?
It was super fun.
Rock and roll?
Super fun. Yeah. It was all new guys. So we had outside trainers. We had Nate Roth. We had
Shout out
Adam
Nate.
Foltz helping us in the
Foltzy.
tunnel. We had Brandy Coates come in and work in the
Shout
front
out
desk,
Brandy.
helping
She's
us out.
here.
Like all of these people that had been at iFLY for a long time already
Yeah.
were coming to Kansas City because we didn't have a lead instructor. We didn't have that high level of a guy.
Right.
Nathan actually got his examiner rating by helping us open Kansas City. He was there the
Lucky
longest,
dude.
like the first 3 months he was in Kansas City, and that helped him get his examiner rating.
Nice.
Yep.
And then were you jumping in Kansas?
I was jumping in Kansas. Yep, just on the weekends here and there.
It was tough, right?
Skydive Kansas City, like it was. They had a King Air. It was fun, But at the time, I was new to Kansas City, new to the city. I knew the tunnel guys, but all of my friends were still kind of up in Iowa. So I was driving up there quite a bit to
From Kansas? How
make
far
some
is it?
jump.
I don't even know.
It was a
Iowa's at.
3-hour drive up I-35.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, straight north on I-35.
north, yeah.
It was easy.
So I was straight south of you in Oklahoma jumping, man.
Yep.
You ever jump in Oklahoma?
I did jump once. Yeah, a couple guys from my FITP went to Oklahoma. Casey Beaton, who works here
Casey's
at Phoenix
here.
now. Yep.
Fucking smallest world,
Casey and
man.
I were in the same FITP.
No shit.
Yeah.
Dude, it's the smallest world.
so there-
I swear to God.
So this leads into how I got to Phoenix. I visited Oklahoma to see Casey.
Which drop zone? Oklahoma Skydive Center?
Scissortail, which is not open anymore.
Oh my God, that's right. They were in fucking.
It was Scissortail. I don't know anything about it, where it was, or I don't even remember what we jumped out of. But Scissortail.
Dale's place?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I know it was Scissortail.
Was
but
the
that's
pilot
all I know.
smoking a cigarette on the fucking ride up to altitude?
That was so long ago, I don't remember.
He was.
So I went there to visit Casey, flew in the tunnel,
Scissortail.
saw Brandy again, met a few other guys who ended up in Phoenix, and then
Everybody's here.
Yep.
Fuck, this is crazy.
And that's kind of how I ended up in Phoenix. I had more acquaintances through iFLY at iFLY Phoenix than I did at any other location.
So you just transferred in.
It made it easy to transfer over from Kansas City.
Did you know that Eloy existed when you came out here?
I had heard of Skydive Arizona, but I didn't know anything about it. I've never heard of like Arizona Airspeed or anything at all. I'd never heard of Arsenal. I'd never heard of.
We came from the Midwest. We didn't know anything.
I don't know anything.
And then when you got out there, what was it like?
It was a culture shock because I came from Community 182, people I know,
Right.
pretty, in my eyes now, my understanding now, very low skill drop zone to Skydive Arizona, which is among the meccas of skydiving in the whole world.
What's another one other than
Skydive Arizona, Skydive Paris, Skydive Chicago,
DeLand,
DeLand, all of Florida, basically.
all of Florida, anywhere in Palaca, fuck it.
Yeah. Any of the three in Florida.
And then you got to go overseas after that.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah.
I would
There's good. Any Spaceland.
Spaceland.
Texas has great skydiving.
Yeah, we're
too.
sharing.
Yep,
Come on.
Absolutely.
But yeah, culture shock.
Yeah.
So I know the Spacelands. I'm used to going to Sharon and being like, oh, fuck, there's a lot of talent here.
Yep.
This is great. You can get on amazing jumps. Amazing jumps at any time of the day. There's an edge. There's a razor edge to Eloy.
Yep.
What is that? It's a thing that like...
It took... I guess one of the things I noticed about Eloy was a lot of people have been in Eloy for a really long time.
Right. There you go.
So until you're here for a long time, it can feel a little difficult to fit in.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right.
And I mean, like I had my tunnel friends, right? And I knew these people at the drop zone, but it took me a while to feel in.
Dude,
at Skydive Arizona.
It's hard not to be intimidated.
Yeah, absolutely.
And watch how beautiful it is. The other day we were on the packing floor. You were like, "Hey, Waz, this is that one guy, the one you introduced. Introduced me to people.
Yeah.
And everybody's super nice.
Yep.
And then you go skydive with them, and they're fucking ninjas. And it's hard not to land and be like, "Oh fuck!" Right? It was cool a minute ago, but now, dude, you're good.
It's really easy to have casual rips with really good jumpers.
Mind blowing.
Pretty much any day of the week.
And then you just land like nothing. Just like the sky should be on fire.
It's not a bad place to have as a home drop zone.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
So, iFLY journey. When did you decide you were going to get into aviation? Because you love to listen. This is the path.
Yeah.
A lot of iFLY, Garrett
I'm not-
Bloodworth, Chris Dixon.
I'm not the first.
You're not the first.
Transfer
They're necessary.
from tunnel to pilot. I'm not the first.
And it seems like the natural progression.
It's a good progression, one, because a lot of tunnel flyers are also skydivers. Skydiving is among one of the aviation groups, right? It's very consumed by aviation. So there's a lot of pilot skydivers as well. So it's really easy to meet people and help navigate and get kind of turned in that direction.
So there is a lot of help.
Absolutely.
That's why.
Becoming a pilot is so much networking, much more than people realize. A lot of hard work as an individual, but it is so much networking. And that's how I became a pilot. I was working here. My supervisor at the time, her husband, Jeff Agard, shout out, taught me how to fly. He would fly on her staff time. We became friends, and he asked me if I wanted to go.
Look at the bars, baby.
He asked me if I wanted to go up and do a discovery flight, just fly in an airplane for the very first time. And I said, sure, why not? And we talked about it more, and I was at iFLY for almost 5 years at the time. It was like 4 years at the time. And I didn't have a way out, I was in my mid-20s.
No one has a way out. We're all fucking trapped.
I had and what I mean by that is I had no prospective future beyond iFLY.
Because this is the best thing ever, so what else?
Yeah.
So you have to find something better,
It was the most amazing early 20s, mid-20s bachelor life job. I loved it.
Hold on. I'm almost fucking... Hold on, dog.
That's what it was for me. That's what it was for me.
What are you saying to your boy, dog? I gotta grow up, man. Raleigh, I gotta grow up, Raleigh.
You're doing great.
I'm growing up, Raleigh.
That's just what it was for me. But I knew that I needed to do something else and get something figured out. And for lack of a better term, flying just kind of fell into my lap.
Everything's falling in your fucking lap from this conversation. You stumbled onto skydiving, became one of the best motherfuckers, and now, I just went on a discovery ride. Now I got a new career. So what are you flying now?
I fly a regional airline, fly CRJs.
What's a CRJ? Look it up.
CRJ is when you look out the terminal window and you're like, that's a small airplane. Am I getting on that airplane? That's the airplane that I fly.
The one that goes to Tulsa.
Yeah, the long tube with the low wings and the engines up on the cowl with the tall tail.
Yeah. And it has 2 rows of seats, and they're really small.
Yep, one down one side. Yep.
It's fun though, right?
Yeah, that one right there. That's yep.
Look at that.
Yep. Yeah, it's great.
It's a lot of power.
It's crazy.
Jesus Christ, that much in your hands.
300 knots is fast, and that's on like downwind into Chicago. Things move fast at 300 knots. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude. So I was lucky enough. I've flown a bunch of jump planes and been, right seat, whatever. I was in start skydiving in Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay. Their caravan's fast. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's fast. And their runway, you have to go right over a freeway to get to the run. Nothing big.
Sure.
I'm shitting my pants. And he's like, just bring it in. I'm like, it's so fast.
The mantra of people saying, I could land an airplane if I had to.
Fuck no, dude. You're going to overshoot, bro. You have to come deathly low to the ground.
It's fun to think about, but
and I don't care what the dial says about 300 feet. It looks like 10 feet, dog. It looks like you're about to die.
I'll tell you what, jump plane flying that's probably the most fun flying I'll ever do in my life. That I've ever done. Yeah, after I got all my ratings, I flew at Skydive Arizona for 2 years. So I flew the Twin Otters and the Skyvans for
Lucky you.
2 years, almost 1,800 hours between the Twin Otters and the Skyvans at Skydive Arizona. So much fun. So much fun.
Which plane's more fun?
I enjoyed the Twin Otter more. So I liked them both for different reasons. The Twin Otter is fun because it's a big airplane that flies like a little airplane. Feels little. You can fly it with one hand.
Really,
it's very maneuverable. It's very comfortable. The Skyvan is a big airplane that feels like a bigger airplane. It's a man's airplane. You got to be strong. You got to muscle it. It's crazy. And I like the Skyvan because I flew a lot of lead formation flights in the Skyvan. So being that lead pilot was really fun for me. So.
Have you flown any records?
Yep. I flew the entire Project 19 women's event
Sick.
Yep, I flew the whole thing. They got 2 world records during that event. It was like
Do you
30
have any world
loads.
records?
I have 1 world record of my own. The head-up sequential world record that happened in March. So I've flown, I've dropped
All right,
2 world records,
and you have a
and
world
I've
record.
jumped out of the plane and have 1
All right.
skydiving world record. So I had this conversation with somebody recently. I'm trying to figure out how many people.
I've got one on you, bro.
Yeah?
I've got one friend on you, and I love you, Raleigh. And you almost had him.
All right.
Tom Johnston
Okay.
has flown the head up and head down world records
Wow.
and been on the head down
Wow.
and head up world records.
That's
so
cool.
He's got to be the only one, and you're like, dude, you're one of those guys.
I was-
there's a handful. There's just pebbles.
I forget who I was talking to. A USPA. It was at the event in March. The nice lady who was confirming our record in Florida. I asked her how many people have jumped and flown skydiving world records before, and she could think of like less than 3.
so we're at 5 right now.
5-ish.
in the world.
Definitely less than 10.
God. So if I wasn't a black skydiver, dude, I would have nothing.
It's
I'm one of the fuck. Look at. Raleigh, is that you, Raleigh?
It's a cool group to be a part of for sure.
That's the Project 19. Go ahead, hit a play. Let's watch it.
So I'm flying. Yeah,
You flying the van?
I'm flying the van. Yep.
You're flying the lead van?
Yep.
You
It
dude,
was
you fucking spoiled brat.
30 something loads
Look at
over
that,
a week.
dude.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Look at Sarah. Sarah's running for office in fucking Eli.
To this day, among probably the most fulfilling flying that I've ever done in my whole life. To be completely honest, had a lot of friends on the record. It was
Just
a
Chloe.
roller coaster of emotion for the whole week. Like it was,
Of course.
it was a big deal, and I took the responsibility really seriously. And it
You
was,
guys,
it was
you
a lot
hear
of
the
fun.
pilots are in these jumps with you guys.
Yeah.
They're just as serious, man.
That's why I enjoyed flying jumpers so much, is because I'm a jumper myself, so I know what it's like to be back there. So
Right.
I know how to fly the airplane and get to altitude and do my job right, but I knew how to do all of that and make it a better experience for the skydivers,
jumpers.
for the jumpers,
Hey,
which was really cool, and it was something that I took a lot of personal enjoyment out of.
I didn't this last jump, which is weird, but every jump for the last fucking 15 years, I yell up to the pilot, "Hey man, thanks for the ride."
Yep,
Does that bother them?
it means a lot. To me, it meant a lot.
I think it does. Because, dude, whenever I include pilots on my jumps, they're so stoked.
Oh, I would say to most skydivers, maybe more nowadays, but when I was growing up skydiving, I never said hi to the pilot. I never said thank you to the pilot.
They don't speak to him.
I never saw him. I didn't know who
like,
they
dude,
were. I
that
didn't know
dude's
anything about
fucking
it. And,
rad.
and I feel bad now, but being a jump pilot who was also a jumper, I guess gave me made it easier for people to interact with me, for sure.
Right.
But-
As to a pilot who's kind of
Because I was a
jumping.
jumper at Skydive Arizona. Then I did all my pilot stuff, and all my friends and everybody at Skydive Arizona knew about
Watched
it.
you,
Then I got
yeah.
hired at Skydive Arizona, so
Oh,
everybody
there's Raleigh,
knew,
yeah. Yeah.
which was really cool. So I feel really lucky and fortunate in that sense. But since all of that happening and all the support that I had during that, I take a lot of extra. I have a lot of extra sense for the pilots that are flying me now, even if I don't know them
Right.
personally.
Right.
I make a point to try to introduce myself or say thank you or,
hey man.
yes, something along those lines.
Like in our drop zone, the pilot was fucking one of us. Period.
Yep.
He wasn't separate at all.
Yep.
Fucking Aaron, Steve,
Yep.
all of them were like us.
Yep.
So going to a big drop zone, it's weird having them get on the plane and then not even. So I'm like, hey man, thanks.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they're like, yeah. Sometimes they're like, what?
Especially at Skydive Arizona, they're getting out of the plane every 5 loads to hit the bathroom.
And that's it.
And that's it. So they're turning and burning all day long. My record is 23 loads in a day, and I think the most flight time that I ever logged in one day was like high 9 hours of loggable flight time.
And
nuts.
that's takeoff landings. That's a lot.
Everything,
So, dude, that's a hardcore ass job for some guys just trying to get hours up.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. Like, it's fun flying, but it's
grinding.
It's grinding, man.
It's grinding.
It takes a toll. Like it's
grinding.
it's more physical than you realize.
Oh, I know. I watch them, dude. That's why I try to say what up and like.
Yep.
And if you get in good with them, here's a little secret. If you're last out, they can't wait to dive the
Yep.
motherfucking plane with you. If you can fly on your head, son.
Yep.
You can sit there, dude. I'm sitting there playing rock, paper, scissors with a pilot. Dude, autopilots will hang out the window.
Yeah,
what the fuck is that?
You can watch the last jumper go for a little bit.
What the fuck is that? Hold on. I'm not going to say your name, Vin. Dude would fucking roll the plane, get out of the window, and pump his fist while he's diving this fucking building next to me.
That's a little too much for me.
That's amazing.
I'll stick my hand out and wave when I'm on the ground,
No,
but
dude,
that's
he's
about
fucking,
it.
yeah. So one of my bosses told me, he goes, when you get too old to jump, you dive the plane head down and fly with the jumpers.
Yeah.
That's what Mike Mullen does because he's too fat to fly.
Sure.
So now he just flies his plane.
Sure.
So my old boss is so amazing, Jack Reeves. I get out of tandem, and he would carve the 182 head down around me. And he said that it wouldn't super cool or tear the frame up because he was in a carve. So he had that. I don't know. Dude, the wings would ripple like water.
Oh, my God.
And I'd watch him. I got a picture at my house. The plane's right behind me, full head down. I'm staring at the camera. I used to love that shit. I'm surprised you didn't do tandems. You got the body for it.
Yeah, never had any interest in doing tandems. To this day, I think it'd be cool to go through the courses just for the knowledge, or take my mom or my dad or my sister or family members on a skydive someday. But it's not a burning passion or desire of mine.
So I always say, meeting people like you and other people, I got to kind of reframe this. Because Skydive Arizona is different. But at other drop zones where it's not such high level, you're not really part of the community unless you're working. You show up on the weekend, you get on the plane, get out, land safely, don't buy beer, and go home.
Sure.
And your friends are there, but you're not really part of the fucking
if you're not
organism.
Yeah, if you're not hanging out afterwards, it can be difficult to be.
Yeah. Okay, what was your free fly progression? What did you do? Because you said you stayed on your belly in Chicago.
Yeah. So, I did the normal, tunnel instructor FITP progression. So I could, sit fly kind of coming out of FITP.
Okay.
And
so you had the tunnel, of course.
To be honest, I was a terrible learner. It took me so long. I was among the slower learners in my FITP, for sure. I was a good instructor, but my flying was not always there. And then when we got to when we got to Kansas City, there was the majority of my time at Kansas City, we didn't have a lead instructor. We didn't have a high-level guy to teach us. Most of the other guys there were really creative and teaching each other how to fly head down, how to carve, how to do all this stuff. And I was not really able to do that. It just didn't make sense to me. So I stayed head up while they all went head down, which is why I like head up so much.
A monster right now.
Think I can do okay on my head, on my feet.
Fuck off.
And honestly, it really wasn't until, I learned head down by stalling layouts.
That's how I learned head down.
Putting student suits on, stalling layouts, turning the wind speed up over and over, and
just stop.
Eventually turn that into a transition,
That's how I learned.
When I got to Phoenix and was among, way better flyers in Kansas City at the time, and having Nathan here, that's when my tunnel progression really took off, which helps with the skydiving, of course.
Yeah.
But the progression in the sky just comes with numbers, man. Tunnel helps. Tunnel makes everything so much better and easier. But the progression just comes with jumps.
Yeah, but you said two things.
Yep.
Instructing in the tunnel and being a good flyer are two separate things.
My belief about myself is I was a better instructor than flyer.
I'm a better instructor than flyer. I pride myself on being able to teach people how to fly, not my layouts.
I enjoyed instructing a lot. I enjoyed teaching. And a lot of the reason for that is because I wasn't the best student, so I had a lot of different techniques thrown at me.
Perfect.
So I had a lot of tools in my own toolbox that I acquired from my own teaching.
Which a guy that gets it naturally doesn't have. So shout out Dusty Shaw in Austin. Dusty's one of the best instructors in the world, but at first he got everything so easy, he couldn't teach a fucking thing. He was like, I don't know why you're not getting it. He would just do it again. And he would just do it again. I was like, Rafa, you got to understand, not everybody got it that way. And when he tweaked that, he became a better instructor.
Absolutely. And that lip, that edge, the 1%, the good guys, they figure that out for sure.
Right. The 1%.
But it's more it can be difficult for some.
So we've been here for a minute. So new jumper coming up. I mean, man, we didn't watch many videos. we're doing angles. It's fucking sick. It's next level.
Yeah.
It's beyond head down.
Yep.
It's beyond vertical.
It's its own
It's its
discipline.
own thing.
Yep.
We opened up the show with you guys were just flying sequentials in the tunnel. That's how the show's going to
Oh,
open.
cool.
Yeah. But angles are past that. Angles are dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, skydiving's dangerous, but the vertical speeds from free flying are there on an angle jump.
Right.
But now you've got the horizontal component as well, which in trajectory can be a difficult concept to grasp for a lot of people. And when you don't know where you're going or where somebody else is going, collisions can happen. And
Yes.
So
we're about to get to a Friday freak out, but we're about to go to this. I've got 80 jumps. I'm standing next to us in Eloy, listening to what we're about to do, and we're going head up, we're going to turn, we're coming down, and they're just listening. They're like, fuck, I want to do that.
Yep.
What do you suggest?
The first step has got to be to get out of the mindset of getting there as quickly as possible. You can't rush the process.
Preach.
So those jumps that we were doing and that I've been doing, I've been skydiving for 10 years. I've only been doing jumps like that maybe 3 years. Like I have not. Right. I've been jumping for 10 years. That means that's 7 years. I have not been doing this really cool high level highlight Instagram stuff that I post.
Right.
You know what I mean? Those are the highlights. That's the cool stuff. And that's the stuff that I've been doing recently, not the stuff that I've been doing for 10 years.
You know what buzz me out? Because I'm like 20 years in, and I just started this shit fucking last year. Like we've been moving. I've been moving, but not like this, dude.
Yep.
Right? Like Skydive, Arizona.
It's a good place.
It's a dude. Like I can't stop thinking about when's the next time I can go jump, man. Look at Jeff Rowe. That's Provenzano, right?
Yep.
Look at Jeff Rowe.
It's fun to jump. That day we got like 5 2-ways in together. It was so much fun.
Dude, you get 5 2-ways with Jeff Rowe Provenzano if you go to fucking Skydive, Arizona.
Oh, it was a blast.
Look at that shit, dude. I love that dude.
Yeah. Any kind of movement, like angles, tracking, wingsuit. Like my 1,700 jumps, I've got more than 700 wingsuit jumps too. Like I love
you're a wingsuit motherfucker.
Moving.
I love moving too.
Moving.
So when did you start wingsuiting? Because I've got like 200 jumps, but I couldn't free fly when I started, so I stopped to learn how to fly.
Yep.
Because watch this, I say this all the time. It's easy to put on a dress and look cool.
Yep.
Right? But it's hard to learn how to sit fly.
Yep.
So a lot of those guys can't sit fly, but they look cool in their wingsuits.
So in my eyes, there's usually two kind of wingsuiters. There's the guy or the people who start at 200 jumps and they make 1,000, 1,500 wingsuit jumps, and that's all they do.
That's all they do.
And then 800 jumps later, 1,000 jumps later, they're pretty decent at wingsuiting. Or there's
did you guys hear that?
Or
hold on. 800 to 1,000 jumps later, you finally got good at it. Dude, I came to a point, I flew with Tony Origallo. I had 200 wingsuit jumps, couldn't fly, and he smoked me. He left me in free fall, and I realized I can't afford this shit. Like, I've got to do 1,000 wingsuit jumps and nothing else to get good at this. Otherwise, you're just going to be a jack of all trades.
My short tangent about wingsuiting is if you want to be a good wingsuiter, be good at body flight in general first. Fly in the wind tunnel. Be able to do head-to-sit transitions or sit-to-head transitions. Excuse me. Have a basic understanding of tracking or maybe even some angle jumps. Like the better at body flight in general, belly back, sit, head down, whatever. The better at body flight in general that you are, the easier it is to learn how to wingsuit. Because wingsuit is just amplification of all of that stuff.
Dude, this is the best fucking part of this podcast right now. You're giving golden jewels out because everybody wants to do that shit. Ever since those guys jumped off that cliff in Norway and people saw him fly away from it, everybody wants to put on a squirrel suit.
I love flying wingsuits. As much as I love free flying and flying angles and doing really high level cool stuff like that, I love wingsuiting. I love doing the same kind of high level stuff in wingsuit.
In a wingsuit.
Flying head down, doing XRW. Like the among the coolest reactions I get from other people on skydives is when I'm flying a wingsuit head down next to them or doing XRW. Like
who's that? Are you in the suit?
I'm in the suit, and then Jay Sanders is
that's Sanders?
our canopy pilot. Alex Swindle's
Jay
filming.
Sanders. I love Sanders, man. He just talks shit about
He
Valkyries.
rips, man. We were out on it was like a Sunday, and Alex, myself, and our buddy Sterling, we just came out to wingsuit, and he's there swoop training. He's like, you guys want to do some XRW? And we're like, sure. And every other jump, he does an XRW jump with us, and then he goes and does his hop and pop. It was so much fun.
Man, I'm learning from Jay Sanders right now. He just doesn't like PD, and it breaks my heart. Where do you fly?
My wingsuit So my wingsuit, I'll talk about that setup. My wingsuit setup is Squirrel Creature 2. That's the wingsuit. My UPT vector container with a WinX 135. A Tear, the base company, makes.
Okay, I know a Tear.
Yep, they make one skydiving made called a Win-X WinX.
It's badass.
It's awesome. I love it. And then my
what size is it?
135.
Perfect.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Which is I don't recommend for people learning to wingsuit.
No, of course not. Fly 150, 170.
Yeah.
Is it square or elliptical?
It's square. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it's very square.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
perfect.
There's a picture on it all the way at the top.
So my favorite wingsuiting canopy is a Sabre 1.
Yeah.
It's fucking perfect.
Right there, all the way in the top left corner. That's my wingsuit canopy. Yep. Which is great, and it opens great. It flies fun.
There you go.
It's a good wingsuit canopy. I really enjoy it. But then my free fall setup is I've got a Javelin with a JFX2 109.
You got the JFX2.
Yep. JFX2 that's what I free fall with. That's what I swoop with.
I hear that is so. Sanders was saying it's as good as the Leia or better.
I mean, I'm new to the cross brace world. This JFX2 109 is the only cross brace canopy that I've jumped. But
oh, really? You spoiled fucking brat. That's how you came in the game with the JFX2.
I loved
you
it,
motherfucker.
Man.
I had an FX. Dude, I used to hit the ground so hard.
I didn't even have the J.
Yeah, dude,
that's awesome. Yeah, I jumped Crossfire 3s of different sizes. 129, 119, and then got on the JFX, and it was a really good progression. It swoops, it's fun. I really enjoy it. Yep.
Yeah, I got the Valk, and I love it, but man, watching those fucking Leias come in,
they're cool.
It's so bad.
I'll get on something like that someday, but
yeah, I
got more jumps to go.
Right on. Let's do this Friday freak out, because we were just talking about angles. So we're going to break this down, Raleigh, because you lead these things. Hey, it's shit like this, guys, that if you run into me and I only want to do a two-way with, like, fucking somebody else, this is why. It's not your fault. Because I've been around long enough. Wow. Wow. Jackson, you doing good out there, buddy? All right, here we go.
I'm trying to figure out where
Angle is
that
like that's Chicago. Look at the river.
It? Okay.
Sky of Chicago. There's a river right there. All
Oh,
right.
I see it, yep.
Angle dive. Everybody's kind of working it out. Look, trying to get in. Trying to get in is getting tight. Where we at? So somebody's going to blast. No, look. All right, they're turning already?
It looks like they're in a turn.
They should let it build a little bit more, right? Oh, whoa!
Damn.
What happened? That's not that bad. That shit happens. But like Raleigh was saying, man.
The potential, it wasn't bad in this video, but the potential for how bad that can be.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, because there's a video that's out now. That guy hit him and he spun his homeboy, like broke his legs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
So they were on their back tracking, it looks like, and they just fucking flailed.
To me, it looks like they are trying to come up to the group, and then they either lose track of themselves or lose track of their own body position, and the group accelerates and catches up to them.
Oh, shit. So,
yeah,
you guys, it's vertical speeds and forward speeds.
Yep. That's insane. I wouldn't want to get hit like that.
Ooh. Hey, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. He dropped the shoulder and carved through.
So like I mentioned about wingsuiting, a lot of people get into it immediately with very little prior training. I see that kind of hype trend happening with angles as well.
I'm trying to say that's what I was asking you.
People are getting into it as soon as possible.
They think if they can straighten their legs and bring their arms back, they can angle.
It's body flight in general. The better you are at belly flying, back flying, sit flying, head down, all of that stuff, it makes angles, wingsuit, other aspect. Even that progression, going back to belly flying, makes belly flying easier. Just body flight knowledge and awareness in general makes you better, and there's no accelerating it. No matter how badly you want to be able to do that stuff, it just takes time.
You can accelerate in the tunnel.
Of course.
I only charge $5 a minute.
But it just takes time. It just takes time.
It does take time.
There's no replacement for years in the sport, unfortunately.
But you want it so bad.
Yeah.
I want it so bad.
Yep.
I wanted to show up and be who I felt like I am, and I'm not who I feel like I am.
I see people doing stuff that I want to do, you know, and I'll get there eventually, but it's the journey.
It's a journey.
It's the journey.
Right on, Raleigh.
Because I don't just want to skydive to have a good time. I want to skydive as long as I can. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to do anything dumb. I don't want to hurt somebody else. I want to skydive for as long as possible. And to do that, you got to be safe.
So what's next for Raleigh? Bigger planes, faster parachutes?
Yeah, I mean, jumping and flying, you know? That's pretty much all I do.
That's pretty much all I do. Damn it, that's all I want to do.
You know, that's pretty much all I do.
Jump. I want to go fly. For me, it's paramotors.
Yeah.
My kids are going to be pilots, but I just want to fly.
Yeah.
I just want to fly.
Progression my professional career as a pilot in, whatever avenue is best for me in the moment and with my personal life, but skydiving, more jumps, more swoops, everything.
Last thing, if somebody's on the edge about doing their first fucking jump, what would you say?
Just take a deep breath, and if you have a difficult time breathing in the sky, just scream. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. Yeah.
Sweet. Grab the book, man.
Cool.
All right, yo. WazzyCircus Radio, Patreon's about to be back up. We're back, baby. We're in Arizona. We're at Eloy. We got camps coming up here in Phoenix. There's a lot going on. We're going to try to get a site up. We're going to try to get our shit together. We're not very good with the clerical shit, but I'm going to keep putting out content, baby. We're back. There I was. No shit. Thought I was going to die. WazzyCircus Radio. I love you guys. Go jump. Keep your head on a swivel and hook that shit, baby. Go ahead, Raleigh.
All right. Heart-shaped formation. My favorite no shit there I was, thought I was going to die story is a night dive in 1977, right after Nationals. We were all tuned up from team jumping and thought it would be a good idea to go for a world record night circle jump, which stood at 19 or 21 at the time. We had 22 jumpers on board. We wasted some prime beer drinking time because the moon didn't actually rise until 10 or 11 that night, which is something we didn't account for initially. In addition to the normal altimeter and helmets light, we had reflective tape on our jumpsuit wings. Mike Jenkins had this big strobe light, and he wanted to make sure we had a good picture.
He's about to blind the fuck out of everybody. I guarantee it.
I took the extra precaution of breaking open the glow stick and outlining my reserve ripcord. The circle built to about 19 and funneled. There was a lot of vertical separation, but very little horizontal. Nothing worse than 22 skydivers wandering around the sky at night looking for a place to pull.
In 1977.
I tracked away and looked over my shoulder only to see 3 or 4 jumpers above me silhouetted by the moon. I decided to keep tracking and take it down a bit before pulling to be sure that nobody stopped in to say hello rather abruptly. Around $2,000 or so I dumped.
Jesus Christ.
But my piglet opened into a streamer. This piglet had streamered before, including a few times when I was able to pull apart the lines and it would open. I also had a few...
they're jumping rounds.
Yep. I also had a few cutaways at the same canopy, and one where my thumbs were in the rings and the opening shock. Where did that come from? Jerked my thumbs down and thought I was back in free fall. A guy on the ground said it opened just after I left, and I said, yeah, that's about right, but I digress. I was trying to separate the lines when I remembered that I had already dumped low and decided to cut away. After cutting away, I had the comforting sight of my reserve ripcord glowing in the dark. The opening was hard but welcome. I was at 500 feet, a couple more seconds, and ouch. About half of us, not me, wanted to go up and try it again. By this time, it was 1 or 2 in the morning. I said my reserve wasn't packed, so I couldn't go. Don Hansen piped up and said he had a backup rig I could use. Now, there was something I wanted to do. Go back up after the first attempt funneled. I almost died middle of the night, borrowing somebody else's gear and trying again. Having said that, I did agree, but the majority of the group wanted to turn in, and that's what we did. I was relieved. Every time I show the photo to woofos, they ask if we were trying to build a heart-shaped formation. I tell them no. That's the start of the funnel, and tell them the story. That was my last night jump.
Nice. How many night jumps you got?
2.
That's it?
I don't really have any interest in doing it anymore.
Why?
Because stuff like this can happen. Yeah, nothing. Not for now. Not for now.
Yeah.
You know?
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Love you guys. Hit us up. Peace out. Raleigh, how do they find you? Where are you at on Instagram?
Just my first and last name, Raleigh Spahn, on Instagram, Facebook. Find me on Instagram. I'm more active on Instagram, so give me a follow. I post as regularly as I can, just cool skydives here and there.
And he'll jump with you.
Yeah, I love skydiving at Skydive, Arizona. I'm there all the time. I love jumping in general with anybody. So come find me at Skydive, Arizona. Let's do a skydive.
And then he's going to smoke you and then laugh.
We'll have a good time.
Yeah! Peace, man. We did it.
All right. That was
Thank
fun.
you, Jax. You enjoy yourself? Was that good?
Super fun.
Welcome to the WazzyCircus Radio, a show where we are documenting skydive history. These are stories that you would only hear around the bonfire on a Saturday night after jumping. This is how I learned to skydive, not only letting go of the plane, but on the packing floor and in the debrief corner. There's nothing sweeter than a case of ice-cold Modelo's while you burn some random couch on an Oklahoma summer night. We left our studio in Austin and made a brief stop in El Paso, where we were able to interview some of the best flyers in the world. Now we've landed here in Arizona, where we can kayak with wild horses down the Salt River. I can fly paramotors through the superstitions and chase my kids on their dirt bikes. We are jumping out of caravans and otters at Skydive Arizona and Skydive Buckeye. And of course, I get to fly with my wife and kids in the beautiful Scottsdale iFLY location. Amen? Amen. We're back at it and I need your support. The Patreon is back up and we would love to have you become a member for as low as $5 a month. And soon, we will offer ad-free listening to our members. Please support the show and your local Freeflyer. Again, thank you for your kind words and support. Keep your head on a swivel and hook that shit.